one just aged me, but we're getting better. Shoot, good win.
Caitlin Clark couldn't believe it. In the middle of a 5-game winning streak, when things were finally clicking for the Indiana Fever, Sophie Cunningham delivered a bombshell that left everyone, including Clark, staring in disbelief. This wasn't just frustration. It was a direct shot at the team's chemistry, shot selection, and leadership. Sophie had every reason to be furious. She shot a blistering 4 for 5 from the three-point line, that's 80%, and still got iced out of the offense like she was just some bench warmer. Meanwhile, her teammates combined for a humiliating 0 for 17 from deep. Let that sink in. One player is shooting lights out, and the rest of the team is tossing bricks, and somehow she's the one getting ignored. But here's where it gets ridiculous. The snub didn't just happen casually. According to footage and game flow, the Fever completely stopped passing her the ball in the third quarter, cold turkey, while she was cooking. And the worst part? They gave all the shots to the one player having her worst night of the season, Kelsey Mitchell.
Kelsey Mitchell was absolutely horrid in this game. Absolutely terrible. Let's just jump in. I got to tell you. And I don't know what it is about certain parts of these games, certain halves of these games. It's like they didn't want Sophie Cunningham to touch the ball at all in the second half. And she finished with 17 points, 5 of 6 shooting, 4 of 5 from three-point range. And in case you're wondering, she's the only Indiana Fever player that hit a three-pointer this evening. Kelsey Mitchell was 3 of 16 from the field. The old Kelsey Mitchell showed up tonight.
Mitchell went 0 for 8 from 3 and 3 of 16 overall, yet somehow got the green light to keep chucking like she was Steph Curry in the finals. You'd think a professional team would know who to feed, right? Instead, the Fever almost blew a double-digit lead and let Seattle go on a late 11-0 run, all because they refused to play smart basketball. Even Clark, who's often the center of attention, was seen on the bench with her arms crossed, visibly confused. Was she shocked? You bet. Because this wasn't just poor coaching, it was borderline sabotage of a player doing everything right.
Oh, man. Whew. They sure do know how to stress a brother out. The Indiana Fever just almost pushed me to a heart attack. I mean, Jesus. I mean, come on, guys. Come on, guys. My goodness. This is Kelsey Mitchell. She's a roller coaster. She's a roller coaster. She gave you 9 points on 3 of 16, shooting 0 of 8 from 3.
And get this, Sophie's not some random role player who got hot for one game. She's been their most consistent three-point shooter all season. A proven vet, a locker room voice. And in a must-win game, with playoff positioning on the line, she was left standing wide open in the corner, watching teammates jack up. Contested threes with 15 seconds left on the shot clock. That's not just a snub. That's a total breakdown in basketball IQ. But what Sophie did after the game? That's when the real fireworks started. She didn't hold back. In post-game interviews, she praised the team's defense and said the right things. But the look in her eyes told a whole different story. You could practically hear her thinking, this is what we're doing now? We're wasting wins?
Business in a winning streak like this, what does that sort of say about how this team's come together?
Yeah, you know, Seattle's a great team, a great team, and it's hard to play here. And so we knew that, where our mental's at as a team and as individuals, we're in a really good spot. And, you know, it's not going to be easy moving forward, but I think today we stayed true to the scout. We trusted the offense. Kelsey has been having a hell of a season. She was a little bit off, but she facilitated for us offensively down the stretch. And it just shows that everyone has something to give, even if your scoring's not going to be there. But I don't know, I'm just proud of our team, and I'm proud that we stacked today.
And as soon as the final buzzer sounded, insiders reported she went straight to the locker room and called out her teammates. For real. She made it known. If they're going to win games, they better start recognizing who's hot and quit playing selfish ball.
Sophie talked about how if this was May or June, you guys might not have been able to pull out this game, especially with Seattle's 11-0 run.
We didn't get too high, we didn't get too low. Like, look, this league is tough, and teams are going to make runs, and this is a veteran team in Seattle. You know, we made some big plays in key moments that allowed us to win the ballgame.
Because if this happens again in the playoffs, it won't just be embarrassing. It'll be a meltdown. Now here's where things go from awkward to dangerous. When a team wins 5 straight games, Everyone usually smiles and keeps it moving. But Sophie Cunningham wasn't about to fake it for the cameras. She knew what she saw, and she knew it could happen again.
Real close to blowing this game. Yeah, Sophie Cunningham, she was ready to ball out tonight. Let's take a look right here. Some three-pointers. She was the only one raining down the threes right there. Boom. Knocked it down. And she was hot.
This wasn't just about one game. It was about a pattern. Think about it. You've got one of your most experienced veterans hitting threes like it's target practice, and the team decides to ignore her in crunch time. That's not just a missed play. That's a message. And that message is loud. We're going to run things our way no matter who's making shots. It's reckless, it's selfish, and it nearly backfired. The Fever barely survived a furious rally from Seattle, who had no business coming back in that game. The scoreboard showed a win, but the tape shows a team out of sync, making chaotic decisions and ignoring their best shooter while trying to coast on momentum. But the coaching staff's reaction? Even worse. Instead of pulling Kelsey Mitchell when she missed her 6th, or 7th, or 8th three in a row, head coach Stephanie White left her in for 29 full minutes. Meanwhile, Sophie barely touched the ball after halftime, despite being the only one who could actually score from outside.
If you're asking me again who the best player for the Indiana Fever was today, I'm going Sophie Cunningham. I'm going Sophie Cunningham was the most impactful player. I thought her defense was more than solid. I thought that she shot the ball obviously unbelievably well. She hit a lot of timely shots.
You don't need a coaching degree to know that when one player is shooting 0% from deep and another is shooting 80%, you make the switch. But no, the rotations stayed the same. No timeouts were called to reroute the offense. It was like nobody wanted to say the quiet part out loud. Mitchell was tanking the offense and Sophie was saving it. And Caitlin Clark? She saw it all unfold right next to her. She didn't say anything public, but you could read her body language. The moment Mitchell bricked another wide-open three, Clark just shook her head.
So we're going to need you to step up when and if we see them in the playoffs. Kelsey Mitchell, you'll get through it. We'll get over it. We'll get over it. Sophie Cunningham. Sophie the Trophy Cunningham. What 4 for 5 from 3. 5 for 6 from the field. The only player on the Indiana Fever to make her threes tonight. The Indiana Fever were 4 of 21 from downtown. And Sophie Cunningham hit all 4 of those threes. Kelsey Mitchell defender, some might call me. But I couldn't defend Kelsey Mitchell tonight, man. Today, I could not. Even during her worst games, I'll find a positive. I'll find the bright side. I'll take the glass half full approach. Glass is half empty.
That wasn't the look of a teammate who's annoyed. That was the look of someone realizing this team doesn't know how to win when it matters. But here's the dagger. Sophie isn't the type to bite her tongue. She's a seasoned pro. She's played through injury, fought through trades, and knows what winning basketball looks like. And what she saw on that court in Seattle, that wasn't it. After the game, she kept her comments professional, but behind closed doors, she let it be known. The rotations were wrong. The shot selection was embarrassing. And if the Fever think they can get away with that against elite playoff teams, they're in for a rude awakening.
We went up 13, then they got it back to 4. Like, it was never going to go any other way. And then we got it back out to 13 again, and it just went badly. It just went bad, quick. I don't understand why KK Timpson is just out of the rotation. I genuinely don't know how KK managed to play her way out of the rotation. And Dantas somehow managed to play her way into the rotation.
This wasn't just frustration, this was a warning. Sophie wasn't just upset for herself. She was upset for the game, for the principle of trusting your hot hand, for ignoring smart basketball in favor of whatever that mess was. And if this keeps happening, Sophie's not going to stay quiet. And just when you thought it couldn't get any messier, here comes the locker room drama. This wasn't just one bad night. This was a spotlight on a bigger issue that's been simmering for weeks. Let's zoom out for a second. The Indiana Fever are on a win streak, but it hasn't been clean. Their games have been closer than they should be, and a big reason is their inconsistent ball movement and lack of offensive structure. Good teams? They have rules, systems. When someone is hot, you feed them. When someone's cold, you rotate. The Fever? They're out here running playground basketball in a pro league. Multiple games have seen Kelsey Mitchell take a high volume of shots without production, while players like Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham barely get touches unless it's off a broken play. And this isn't a rookie problem. These are veteran players making rookie mistakes, and coaches letting them do it.
3 for 16 from the field. Kelsey Mitchell 0 for 8 from the three-point line. And off the top of my mind, 4 of those threes just wide open. Wide open. At least 4 feet between her and a defender. The shot simply was not falling tonight. And when you're as cold as Kelsey Mitchell was today, ice cold, Mr. Freeze type cold.
Mitchell couldn't buy a basket. We still was getting up and down. Sophie Cunningham, we were playing fast. Sophie Cunningham was getting open looks. All of the Sophie Cunningham threes stopped in the fourth quarter. Why? Because we started playing so damn slow. We start playing slow and letting them methodically chip and chip and chip at the lead.
But what's worse is what it signals about leadership. Who's the leader here? Is it the coaching staff? Is it Caitlin Clark, still adjusting to the pro level? Is it Mitchell, who's clearly given free rein to shoot even when she's off? Because it sure isn't Sophie, and that's the real issue. She's been in the league longer than most of this roster. She's played in pressure games. And yet she's standing in the corner like an afterthought while bad shots go up over double teams. This isn't just about bad basketball. This is about accountability. No one on the Fever, not one person, stepped in during that game and said, "Let's get Sophie the ball." Nobody stopped the momentum and rerouted the offense. Nobody adjusted the pace to calm down the chaos. And that includes the coaches. Stephanie White had every opportunity to change things, and she didn't. And now the trust inside that locker room, that's the real bomb that just went off. Because when you ignore your vets in favor of chucking shots for no reason, that doesn't just mess with the box score, it messes with your team culture. If Sophie Cunningham, one of the most consistent shooters on the roster, can't even get the ball when she's lighting it up, what does that say to the rest of the team? It says experience doesn't matter. It says smart decisions don't matter. It says anyone can go rogue and nobody will check them. And for a team trying to make the playoffs, that's a recipe for disaster. You don't survive the postseason with hero ball. You survive it with chemistry, ball rotation, and knowing who to trust when the pressure's on. And right now, the Fever clearly don't know. So now the question is, what happens next? Because if you're Sophie Cunningham, you did everything right. You hit your shots, played solid defense, kept your composure, and still got benched by your own teammates. Not because you were cold, but because they just didn't pass you the ball. And somehow, nobody said a word about it. That's not just disrespectful, it's dangerous. This wasn't a meaningless mid-season game. This was a win that nearly turned into a meltdown, all because the Fever ignored the only player who was actually producing from beyond the arc. And let's be clear, this game is going to stick, because when playoff seeding comes down to 1 or 2 games, people are going to look back and say, how did we almost lose to Seattle that night? The answer? Shot selection, ego, and silence. It's not just Kelsey Mitchell's fault. Yes, she was awful. Yes, she kept shooting when she shouldn't have. But someone should have stopped it. A teammate, a coach, anyone. Instead, they let her throw up 8 straight bricks while Sophie stood wide open, watching the lead shrink and the chaos build. And Caitlin Clark? She didn't take a ton of shots that night. She facilitated. She played her role. But even she looked stunned as it all unfolded. Because if a team can't recognize who's hot, how can they compete with real contenders? This is the Fever's wake-up call, delivered by one of their own. Sophie Cunningham's silence didn't last long. What started as a sideline snub is now the talk of the locker room, and probably a few front offices. Because this wasn't just a missed pass. This was proof that the Fever still don't have a system. They don't have roles. They don't have structure. And if they're not careful, this team, even with Clark's star power, is going to implode under the pressure of the postseason spotlight. There's still time to fix it, but they better move fast. Give the ball to the hot hand. Trust your veterans. Make the smart basketball play. These aren't revolutionary concepts, but for the Indiana Fever, they've somehow become optional. And if this isn't addressed, don't be surprised if Sophie drops another bombshell, this time with her agent on speed dial. If you're enjoying this content and want more bold WNBA breakdowns like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to support the channel.